What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast. I'm your host, LeBron Stephen, but you can call me LBZ, L Boogie, Big Brian, B Brian, LB, Ronnie. The choice is yours. Welcome to episode 61. We have a very special guest. Omar Cook is on the show today. Riverside, California native. I was a local star in the California area before deciding to go to Southern University to further his football career. He was a DB, had a great career there. Entered the 2014 NFL draft, did not get drafted. Ended up playing, I believe, 4 years in the Arena Football League, just like I did. And now is an American actor and entrepreneur, creator of the 247 Live Culture, and also does acting. We actually met during season 2. Filming for the CW All American. I believe we acted together in about 8 or 9 episodes. He's actually filming season 3 now, out in LA. So super excited to have a former athlete and now artist like myself on the show to talk about his, athletic journey, growing up in the state of California, and more importantly, his after effect, right? Some lessons that he learned, and how he got into the arts. Super excited to have this conversation. I just sent him the link, and once he jumps on, we will go in.
A guy who came from Cleveland.
Okay, well, you ain't from Cleveland, though.
Cleveland was the best location in the nation.
We from Cleveland, Ohio.
Glenville community on the east side of Cleveland.
Cleveland was called the best location in the nation.
My dog, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm solid, bro.
Yes. Hey, I appreciate you calling on the time. I know you're a busy man. Filming season 3 right now, All American.
Yes, sir.
Crenshaw Mafia.
You know how it go, man. Just keeping it pushing.
Yes, sir. So yeah, man, I call this the After Effects show. I created it almost a year ago because it's my belief that all of us former athletes, we all have an after effect or after shot from our athletic career. When it's over, when it's all said and done, we all have lessons, from the wins, the losses, the injuries, the politics, the nepotism, the racism, all the things that we go through. And I've always felt like a lot of our stories aren't told. Only people's stories who've been told. It's like, guys that played 10 years in the NFL or 10 years in the NBA, then they start a podcast or, they had those resources. So I always feel like our stories are lost in translation. So this is a free and safe space for us to kind of like talk about our childhoods, but more importantly, talk about the after effect, talk about that transition out of our respective sport into what we do now, bro. So I appreciate you joining.
Absolutely. Are you already?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Cool.
So, man, before we like dive into your childhood, I know you're a Riverside, California native. I always feel like we're more than athletes. So let's just talk 2 current events, man. So, right now it's NBA playoffs, first round. It's early in the playoffs. Who do you have winning the NBA championship this year and why?
Man, I'm a Lakers fan, dog. So I got to rock with the home team.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping LeBron and them can pull it through. I know it's going to be a tough contest with them and the Suns right now. CP3 got them boys rolling.
He injured. He injured right now though, so it's up in the air.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and that's a good thing for us. You know what I mean.
Right.
But it's gonna be tough to come out the West. Just period. And we got the Nets over there on the East as well too. So that's gonna be a tough thing to get through. But I'm thinking LeBron, is gonna get us through.
Hey, for the namesake, I'm a Bronny fan. For the namesake, but So have you always been a Lakers fan? Because I know you were raised in Riverside. So have you always been a Lakers fan? Like even in the '90s when Kobe was there, God bless the dead.
Yeah, I love the Lakers. No, sure. I mean, it's in the fam. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm California native. You know what I mean. All my family's here from LA, so
Okay.
LA Lakers is it's in my
No
blood.
doubt.
I was the only time I would say I went against the Lakers was probably when Allen Iverson was with the Sixers. You know what I mean.
Okay. Okay.
So they
Yeah.
played each other in the finals.
In
While
2000, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
I had to choose
I
up, dude, I chose Iverson. You feel me?
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt, man. I feel like we always Iverson fans. Like I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, so I found out about LeBron way back, like in like '99. He was like in like ninth grade. My old man told me that it's a guy with your name. He's supposed to be the best freshman in the country, and he ended up being what he is now. But back then, Iverson changed the game with the tattoos and the swagger and the sauce and the baggy clothes and all that. So I feel like all of us as young guys, like we gravitated towards that. You know what I mean? Every guy was an Iverson fan, so that makes sense. Um, so I know like mini camps are starting in the NFL. We're both former football players. Competed at a high level in college, competed at a high level professionally. So I know it's an early prediction. I got my Browns gear on, man, because I'm a Cleveland native. But who do you think will win the Super Bowl this year? Will TB12 repeat? Will A-Rod stay in Green Bay? Or I'm not sure if you're a Rams fan. What you think? Who wins the Super Bowl this year and why?
I mean, I like the Rams. Obviously they got a good squad and whatnot, and they represent LA. I'm a Raiders fan, though.
Okay.
But I don't see us winning the Super Bowl this year, unfortunately. But hopefully we can have a competitive squad this year.
Right.
Anytime you got Tom Brady, behind quarterback, I think it's hard to count him out for anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're always going to be top tier with him
Right.
behind him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say I had the Bucks winning it last year, but shoot, Tom Brady proved me wrong. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
a competitor. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
hard to
he
go.
went crazy.
Absolutely.
He-
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, man. It's hard to go against TB12. I honestly think the Browns should have beat the Chiefs in that AFC Divisional Championship last year when Patrick Mahomes got hurt. He had never been hurt. That was their chance, So I'm hoping the best. At least they come out the AFC, but the AFC is tough. But you just can't go against TB12. He's still doing it at a monumental age, man. I mean, I remember him winning his first Super Bowl in 2000 when I was like 10, 8, 9, 10 years old. He's still out here doing it, man. So that's always good to see, man. So yeah, bro, let's dive into it. Riverside, California native, born in '92. I was born in '89. Talk about the culture and what it was like growing up in California. Give me an inside look on what that was like. I always feel old when I say this, but we didn't grow up like the kids now. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have cameras, we didn't have video. We really had to be outside and be creative and make up games and interact. And I mean, I think PlayStation maybe came out in like what, 96, 97. That was like the first game. Then Dreamcast came out like 99, 2000. So we had started getting the games closer to 2000. But before then, like we just had to be outside. Like, so paint me a picture on what it was like, especially in California, because it was really popular. Obviously, I was on the whole other coast in Ohio, but it seemed like the California culture was real, like kind of like gangster, like, because you had NWA, you had Ice Cube, you had Easy E, all those kind of things, man. So just paint me a picture of what it was like growing up in the 90s for you.
For me, man, I played sports, growing up from the age, bro. You know what I mean? So up since I was 5 years old, you know what I mean? I've been in competitive sports. So
same here.
that was always a thing for me. So I was always outside, either dribbling the basketball, throwing, catching the football, you know what I mean? Playing street football with the homies, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Up games, so I mean, that was my thing, you know what I mean? Always being outside with my teams and doing something competitively, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was, like you said, today's culture, kids aren't really outside like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm outside, you know what I mean? My people would have to come get me, you know what I mean? Or let me know you got to be home at, by this time, because games until it's nighttime.
Right. For me, it was I could be outside till the street lights came on. I don't know if it's the same for you in California.
Right. People, my friends, we would have street races in the street, you know what I mean? Whatever, we would get off like that, he was the fastest in the neighborhood and whatnot. you know,
Right. Always racing, always competing. Yeah, same here.
all type of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Three flags up, all type of games, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just a lot of fun, you know what I mean? Just really really enjoying your friends out in the community and whatnot. And I think
Oh
that's
yeah, no
what
doubt.
lacking, you know what I'm saying, these days. But I mean, I had a great childhood, man. Really,
Okay.
you know, I was really on the competitive sports scene. I played
Yeah.
A basketball growing up.
Same
So,
here.
I did that travel ball, you know what I mean? Kind of was playing like the little
Yeah.
mini NBA on some shit,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. You played the sport like pretty much every season.
Absolutely.
Football during fall, basketball during winter, and then you did like AU/track in spring or whatever. Then obviously you got football workouts in the summer. You stay busy.
It was crazy. I didn't even start playing tackle football till 8th grade, bro. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was purely basketball. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I kind of dabbled and dabbled other
Yeah.
sports as far as like maybe played some flag football, growing up and um, you know, but other than that, basketball was really my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't really until high school that I really blossomed in football. You feel me?
Okay. Well, that's a perfect segue into my next question because I always feel like any top athlete or athlete that goes to college and is a collegiate athlete, you always know when that light switch hit on. And for me, it was kind of like 10th grade. You start those games on varsity football, start those games on varsity basketball. You start making a lot of plays. Then you start getting all those college letters, and then those offers started to come. You start to get recruited and all that. So for you, when did that light switch turn on for you? Was it 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade? I love hearing guys' different perspectives and stories. When did that light switch hit on for you? And you said like, okay, maybe I can like really go to college and like play football, go to college for free to play football. Like when did that become a reality for you?
Man, I had an interesting career, high school wise. Obviously, like I said, basketball was my number one sport, and that was something that I wanted to do long term.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work out for me in high school. I ended up, having a situation with my high school coaches and whatnot, and I was battling between timing with other sports like football. Kind of ran into basketball season, and that kind of rubbed my coaches the wrong way. So
Yeah.
that kind of affected my playing time with basketball and whatnot. So I ended up having to give it up, and I ended up sticking with football and whatnot. Um, and I skipped a grade, and I skipped the
Okay.
first. So I always was a year behind or a year
Okay.
younger than my classmates. So
Okay.
in high school I was 13.
Wow.
So I was 5'2", 80 pounds coming into high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Real smart.
right,
Real smart.
you're right. So I was a late bloomer, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really didn't start blossoming in football until my senior year.
Okay.
I was always
That's dope. That's dope, man. I love hearing guys' stories. So you didn't really start gaining traction till your senior year. Okay, gotcha.
absolutely, I was always, a great athlete and whatnot, but
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't really start blossoming until my senior year. And really my senior year is when I really popped out.
Mhm.
So at that point, guys were really getting letters junior year and whatnot, and
Mhm.
started college choices. I didn't have that. I had no letters going into my senior year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
So did that give you any like hunger? Like, all right, no, I got to go out here my senior year and ball because I'm really better than these dudes, or was it really no pressure? You just wanted to go out there and have fun.
um, no. So my junior year, I actually the team I was on was pretty good. We had an undefeated season. You know what I mean? One of the best seasons in our school history. So the guys I was around
Yeah.
were pretty talented. I ended up starting my first game ever in high school in the playoffs, and I ended up getting player of the week. You know what I
Wow.
mean? I ended up having something like maybe like 7 tackles and like 4 PBUs or something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Balling.
And from there, I was on the field forever at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So going into my senior year in the summertime, when guys were playing 7-on-7, I really started to separate myself from other
Mhm.
guys and really to
Mhm.
see that I could do this, on a high
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
So just going into my senior year, like just that whole season, I'm on a mission. You know what I mean? I got to prove
Right.
myself. I'm behind on a
Right.
college team.
Right.
And, I did that. So I ended up, leaving that season with a few interests from different schools and whatnot,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and
And then what went into your recruiting process after your senior year to choose Southern University ultimately? Like, was the coaching staff really into your story? Did they recruit you the hardest? Like, what kind of went into that?
Southern University, man. The crazy thing is I didn't even want to go there, you know. I went to go to JUCO, you know. Saddleback was calling my house pretty often. Junior college, and they were one of the top colleges in the country. I wanted to go to a JUCO so I can get better looks, you know. Go to a bigger, you know, Power 5 school and whatnot, you know, look at you know, schools like that. And my mom was really adamant about me going to a 4-year straight out of college or high school. And I had a few HBCUs that were looking at me, and Southern being one of them. So I taking a visit down to Southern University and checking it out with my family, and it was a great family atmosphere. You know, I mean, the coaches were very welcoming. My family loved it and whatnot, and we really enjoyed it. So at that point, it was, you know, this is what it is. You know, I mean, we're gonna take this opportunity. You know, and obviously, you know what I mean. So that kind of played a big part of my decision making to be able to play in front of my own people. You know what I mean? And,
exactly. That's dope.
Sure. So
that's dope, bro, man. So one thing that I love talking about is just the transitions, right? The transition from high school to college, the transition from college to pro, the transition from playing the sport you played for 20 years to whatever you do, whether you're an artist, whether you are working professional. So talk about, and I always feel like those things get lost in translation, man. So talk about going from Riverside, California, all the way to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right? Right. So talk about that transition, because I went to the University of Iowa in the Big Ten, like you were talking about Power 5, but it's a PWI, it's a predominantly white institution. So growing up where I'm from, the inner city, I never went to school with any white people. Only white people I ever encountered in school from K to 12 were like a handful of teachers. So going there to Iowa City, Iowa, it was a culture shock for me. It took me probably at least 5 to 6 months, that whole first semester, to get comfortable. Like, you know, I'm going into class with 200 people, and it's like 3 people that look like me, and they're athletes. So talk about your transition, because I'm sure yours was different, because like you said, you went to an HBCU where everyone looks like you. And like you said, you're able to perform in front of your people. That comfortability is probably already there because everybody looks like you. So talk about your transition going from Riverside, California to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Was it an easy transition? Did you have any struggles?
I would say it was pretty easy. It was interesting, man. You know, I've never seen that many Black people in one. I mean,
that's what I always hear. It's like it's like a Black empowerment. Like, you can't even explain it.
Right. And in California, it's really diverse out here. You know what I mean? So we have, you know, all type of cultures out here. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, obviously in certain parts, you know, you have certain cultures in certain areas, but it's not like you're going to an area where you have 10,000 Black people in one spot. You know what I mean? So it was, and they're all your age. So that was a great experience to be around people that are on the same mission. That look like you and are striving to do the same thing. So it was really an opportunity to kind of connect with people from a different kind of part of the country. You know, you see a couple people from Los Angeles, California, connect with them, and we're all here on the same mission. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a good transition, man. I got to learn a lot. You know, learn different part of the country, different culture. You know, people talk different ways. You know, I mean, different accents and everything like that.
Did you ever get homesick at all, being so far from home?
I mean, I miss my family, you know, of course, you know what I mean? But I never got sick to the point where it's like, damn, I just want to come home.
Yeah. It's like, I miss my family, but like, I'm loving college life too.
Absolutely. You know I mean, I'm a natural person, so being on my own was really something I wanted to do anyway. So I really enjoyed my time there. I had a good support base of people around me out there. You know, that I could really lean on, good friends. So I never really felt like I was alone or anything like that, you know, or, you know, so
that's dope.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was a good opportunity.
That's definitely, bro. So tell me this, man, what stands out to you? Obviously, we're far removed from college, you know, doing our thing in different endeavors, man. But what stood out to you during, like, if you could kind of just think back or kind of dig back for a second, what stood out to you during your tenure at Southern University? Any like moments that you would kind of like never forget, or something that you share with your teammates or the teammates in your family?
Yeah, one of the moments that stood out to me the most was winning the conference championship.
Yeah.
I hadn't won a championship in football since 2003. So took 10 years to bring that back. And so to be a part of that team was, phenomenal and amazing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to share that moment and go through that type of season with my teammates was a great way to send me out, as a senior, of course.
Exactly.
And, that's history, that wasn't won a championship since,
Yeah.
So it's not
History ingrained in the record books. Can't take it back.
That's right. It's not easy to run a championship in college or at any
At
level.
all. At any level, right.
So to do that was a good feat. And I always remember that for sure. You know what I mean? And just being, how it goes, being in the locker room with the fellas, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Locker room vibes, yeah.
Getting that practice, you know what I mean? One-on-ones, shit popping.
That brotherhood. Yes, sir. I can attest to all that, man. So talk about, because you were you were 2014 NFL draft, or 2015, 2014. So talk about your process, man, because again, like I said earlier, the transitions, these kind of transitions get lost in translation, man. Like as far as, training for the draft, kind of hearing certain things from an agent, if you have an agent, and then migrating through draft day, not getting picked up, and then trying to figure out if you would get a free agent deal or if you would get a mini camp invite. You know how it is, all those kinds of things, and then you don't get none of that. So you're trying to like work out 5 times a week, stay in shape, but you're like an adult. You're a college graduate, so you got to like maybe go get a job. You got to pay bills.
Right.
So man, talk about how it was for you, because I was in the 2012 NFL draft. You was 14. But it was just a really hard transition for me because I had an agent. I thought I would at least get a priority free agent deal if I didn't get drafted, but none of that happened for me, and I didn't end up trying out for any teams. Like I tried out for Green Bay, I tried out for Cincinnati Bengals as well, but I didn't try out for any of those teams till like 6 months after the draft. Like it was like December. It was like middle of the season. Like they had some injuries and they were looking for some guys. So talk about your transition. What were you hearing before the 2014 draft? What on draft day, was it a hard day? Was it an easy day because you knew you want to get drafted? And then talk about just your transition from after draft day to potentially playing arena football, going to different tryouts, just all those things that people really don't know what a football player goes through at like during that process, trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
When I came out, I had a decent senior year, I put up 77 tackles, I had 6 turnovers and whatnot. So my numbers were right, you know what I mean? And so I ended up coming back home to California, and I got with a training facility and whatnot, picked up an agent. And I was training 2 times a day, whatnot, strict diet, how it goes, counting calories, pumping weights, doing 40
hard
and all that, you know what I mean? It was, intense, bro, you know what I mean? And I did that for, months and months up until the draft. I got my body right, I gained weight and everything, you know what I mean? I ended up, maybe picking up maybe like, a good 10, 15 pounds of muscle, you know what I mean? And got right, you know what I mean? So draft day came, and, I'm thinking, okay, somebody gonna call, you know what I mean? Somebody, you know what I mean? And the days went by and nobody called, you know what I mean? So at that point, I'm like, damn, what I'm gonna do? You feel me? You train for all that for nothing,
I'm telling
you. So I ended up having to go with plan B, you know what I mean? And my plan B was basically to coach football. So I ended up one day just going on footballscoop.com and looking at all the coaching jobs that was out there, you know what I mean, in the country and whatnot. And I maybe applied to like 40 different jobs and whatnot. I ended up getting a couple offers. One offer at Presentation College in I think South North Dakota, one of the states. And then another school in Maine called Bridgeton Academy Prep School. So I ended up consulting with my college coach and basically was like, you should go to Maine, you know what I'm saying? It's a good opportunity with the whoop. And so shoot, I got the job. Next week I was out to Maine, bro. You know what I mean?
Wow.
A couple months.
I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
How long were you out in Maine coaching?
Man, I was out in Maine for 7 months from
Okay.
August till February. So I was out in Maine, and I still had an agent at the time, so like they're still pushing me, but
Exactly.
I still have to obviously,
Yeah. Yeah, you in that limbo stage, like you're
right,
coaching because
right.
you got obligations. That's your job. You got to pay bills, but your agent's still working for you, trying to get your name out there. Yep, yep. I've been there, bro.
At a prep school, bro, they it's very strict schedule, so everything is done on a strict schedule. So basically I'm having to be everything, tutor, coach, RA, you know what I mean, all of it, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
make sure guys getting by curfew, in my days.
wearing several different hats, just getting it
Right.
done.
I'm
Yeah.
going from 5:30 to 11 p.m. You know what I mean? And my day is not done till 11 till everybody's in bed, bro. So I can't even work out till midnight. You know what I mean? So I'm having to basically train like a pro football player at midnight, you know what I mean? And get up at 5 in the morning to go train these dudes. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of times
Hard,
I'm barely,
hard work.
you know what I mean, but I got to get it done. You feel me? So I did that for months and months and months. About maybe like 2 months in, I get a random phone call from the Nebraska Danger in the NFL league, and calls me up. He's like, "Shoot, I seen your tape. And we want to offer you a contract, bring you to camp." So I'm like, "All right, cool." You know what I mean? That was the first real professional conversations that I was having at the time. You know what I mean? So to have that come out of nowhere. The crazy thing is I was thinking I'm not even gonna play arena ball. You know what I mean? That wasn't even my radar, bro. You feel me?
I was
Like,
thinking the same thing.
you know what I mean? Like that wasn't even on my radar. So like for him to call me on that, I was like, all right, I don't have nothing right now. I'm gonna just go ahead and take the opportunity. I had to kind of finesse it, like, because the school wasn't really trying to let me go on some shit like that, bro. So
Right.
I'm like, I got a big opportunity with the CFL, yada yada. And my coach vouched for me. He was like, all right, yeah, he's about to leave, whatever, in a few months. I also ended up getting picked up with the FCS All-American game. It was the first year they did in 2014. They didn't do it in 2013 when I came my senior year. So I ended up letting me play in 2014. So
that's dope. That's dope.
I ended up flying to Miami in December around that time and playing in the FCS All-American game in front of and everything. And I was already signed at the time. So I was like one of the only players that was signed to a pro team at the time playing in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's dope.
So I ended up, having a good game. I got a pick, whatever. 2 months later, I flew out to Nebraska. I left Maine. You feel me? Yeah. So at that point, Nebraska was my first professional experience.
And I saw you play. I think you played for Nebraska twice. You played Billings, Montana, Billings Wolves, and also the San Diego Storm.
Yes.
Yeah. I played in that same league. It's funny, man, because I was thinking the same thing. You was thinking in 2012, like, man, I'm really not trying to play arena. I heard some horror stories. I heard some good stories as far as because a lot of professional teams, whether NFL or CFL, as we know, they want to see you playing. They want to see you current film, and they would rather see professional current film instead of college film, right? So after I had to try with the Green Bay Packers, they tried me out. They gave me the same BS. Clay Matthews is hurt, so they needed a rush linebacker, and it was like, just stay ready. Keep working out, stay ready. You can get a call from us at any time. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then I got the offer. The Green Bay Blizzard, the team in the indoor league, they called and offered a contract. So I consulted with my agent. He was like, he had talked to the director of player personnel at the time with the Packers, Elliot Wolf, and it was like, well, yeah, the rest center is right across the street from the Lambeau Field. We go to those games, like, we go to those games to scout, like, so if he goes there and plays, yeah, we'll probably like come to his game, like, and if he balls out, maybe he could have a mini camp, opportunity. So I'm like, shit, all right, man, say less, like, I'm there, like, so I played Green Bay my rookie year, and then I did like the CFL circuit. I tried out for basically all the CFL teams, and what was that? 13, 14. And then I played for the Iowa Barnstormers again in 15. So I understand just that the metrics of playing indoor league, all the tryouts, just all that kind of stuff, bro, man. So I've been there totally. That's why I love the story. So after your rookie year for the Nebraska Danger, did you go back coaching? And during the off season, did you stay in Nebraska? how did you get from Nebraska to Billings?
Okay, so I was in Nebraska for 2 weeks in camp, and from day one I was starting. You feel me? And it came down to literally the last day of camp. I got a knock on my door. You know what I mean? The Turk came. You feel me? And basically it was like, you're a great player, yada yada, but we're gonna trade you. You feel me? So
Okay.
I ended up getting traded with a few other rookies up to Billings. And so the next day,
in the middle of nowhere, we played out there in the middle of nowhere in Montana.
right. So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? And it was like, dang, okay, I gotta go to Montana tomorrow. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? So
like you don't have no time to process it. Like you just gotta go.
Like, what you mean I gotta leave? You know what I mean? So I ended up having to go, bro. You know what I mean? And going up. And I mean, it was beneficial for me. It was an expansion team up there. So as a rookie coming in, I was able to play from jump. You know what I mean? And I ended up having a great season and kind of build a name for myself. And I put up like 70 tackles. As a rookie. You know what I mean? So that was a good
great season.
Great stepping stone for me for sure. And from there, I ended up going back home and back to California, and I was coaching. I was coaching at a JUCO. I ended up continuing coaching career. You know what I mean? Ended up resigning for the next year.
Okay. So a transition that I love, because people ask me this all the time. Like, I think us being athletes pretty much our whole life, we're always identified as an athlete. Like if somebody say Omar Cook in Riverside, they're gonna say, oh yeah, Omar Cook, the football player. Like if they say LeBron Daniel in Cleveland, they're gonna say, my bad. They're gonna say, oh yeah, LeBron Daniel, the football player. Like, oh yeah, he used to hoop too, whatever. So it's always like a funny vibe when athletes decide to go into the arts, whether it's acting, writing, hosting, whatever you're doing in the arts. It's always like oh, you think you can do that? So give me your inside look, bro. Like what got you, like what kind of like sparked the idea? Like, man, hold on, like let me try this, because I know you initially started off like doing the motion capture for the Madden game. So like, just kind of give me an inside look on what got you into that, and then we'll like progress on to how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. So I would say about 2017. My agent at the time, I got a random email about the Madden tryout. It was a Madden tryout that was at SC. I'm sitting out. It's like 9:00 in the morning. It's an hour away. You know what I mean? I was living in OC, and I got the email. It was basically like, you can come up here, do the tryout, whatever. You had to pre-register the day before. I didn't do that, obviously, so I just got it. You know what I mean? And the tryout started at 10. And it's at SC, it's hour away. So I had like a few seconds to really think about it, and I thought about it. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go. You feel me?
Yeah. Why not? It's mad. Why not?
I didn't brush my teeth for nothing, bro. Like I just grabbed my cleats and I was gone. You know what I mean? Hit the road, showed up there. A lot of the guys up there was, former NFL guys, whatever. You know what I mean? But I got up there and did my drills, whatever, try out. About 3 weeks later, they hit me back, and it was like, congratulations, you made the team.
Yeah.
So from there,
ever since then, you've been on like every you've been doing motion capture for every game since 17, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean? I've been working consistently since then. You know what I mean? I'm thankful for that. It's been consistent work, but I never really thought to use that to get into acting. I was just doing that for football purposes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Cool. We do like video game stuff.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that's definitely on my list. I heard about the tryout when I first moved to LA back in 2019, but I heard, like you said, I heard about it late. But the guys that told me about it, it was a weird experience, bro, because they told me about it after the tryout. Like they like, it was some weird shit. I don't know if they was hating or maybe they thought I would make it and they would. It was some hate shit going on. It was a weird experience. But yeah, a lot of people don't understand, like, even to get on that motion capture team, it is not just handed to you. You got to try, you got to show that you have the skills. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely love that inside look, man. So after you did the motion capture, obviously every year, like you said, it's great work, stuff like that. What prompted you to say, man, okay, let me take this a step further? Like, I kind of like being in front of the camera. I like doing this. And so I know like you started off doing the stunt football players, ballers, and obviously the season 1 of All American. You've been in season 1, season 2, and season 3. We met in season 2. So what prompted you to say, okay, I'm gonna try this acting thing like full fledged? Like I want to really tell stories. Like what kind of prompted you into that?
Really being on set of All American, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just being around the other actors, you know what I mean? Being around people that were doing it. So I would be on set and I would just be asking questions, you know what I mean? Just asking, you know, how do I do this? How do I, you know, maneuver this? And maybe about a few episodes in All American, I had a list of casting networks. I had a list of things to do, kind of maneuver around. I just kind of got the acting bug, you know what I mean? Okay, I want to try this, you know what I mean? And see what's up. I wasn't thinking of it, like, you know, I'm gonna do it like on a major scale or anything like that, but I definitely try it, bro. You know, and I ended up next thing you know, bro, I got down with Central Casting and I just started booking. You feel me? Like crazy. Yeah. I did like maybe like 10 or 12 shows in about 3 months while I was still working All American. So just being on set of those different shows, I was kind of seeing how everything was working, meeting different creators, you know, connecting with them. And
you know, I already know, I've been there. That's where we met. I think we did like 7 or 8 episodes together in season 2. Shout out to Game Changing Films. They actually hit me up for season 3, but obviously after COVID and I mean, I had to pivot. We all had to pivot in certain ways, man. So I told them, you know, I couldn't do season 3, but yeah, season 2 was a great experience. Like you said, just so many creatives, and it was like we would be filming every week or like a 2-week duration. We would have like 1 week off, then we film again 2 weeks. So man, yeah, it was a great experience, man. It's just that being around all those creators, man. People don't understand. You don't really understand it unless you on the set and you take in all that energy, and it makes you want to try to do. Obviously, it's a big dream. It's a big thing to try to do, but if you take the right steps and you learn the industry, you know, everyone can carve out a lane, you know, for themselves. So I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for me, bro, like you said, it's the energy, you know what I mean? Just being around the energy. Bro. You know, these things, like I was working, you know what I mean, on different shows and whatnot. And I shot a couple of short films with a couple of different creators and whatnot. So I was building up my reel. I ended up I was still playing ball at the time though, you know what I mean? So I ended up signing back to play in San Diego after the second season of All American, which was 2019. And I ended up moving around, going to Chicago with Quad Cities. And the pandemic hit, you know what I mean? So once the pandemic hit, I had to come back home and shut all the sports down and whatnot. And so at that point, I was thinking, you know, I could continue to still play or chase this dream and whatnot, or I would pour my energy into something else, you know, that's kind of blocked me at the time, which was acting, you know. And so I ended up just getting in classes, you know, over the pandemic, and I got picked up by a commercial agent and whatnot at that point, and I literally just was like, you know, I'm an actor now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talk about, bro, because I feel like this always gets lost in translation, because I remember when I got in acting classes a couple years ago, it was weird for me. I'm gonna be honest, just because obviously, you know, we athletes, we're used to performing in front of 30,000, 40,000, whatever, 80,000 people, but acting is so different because you in an acting class, it may only be like 30 of y'all, but you showing raw emotion. Like you learning how to analyze a script, you learn how to improv, you learn emotional prep, you learn marking, how to move on a set, like when you have marks and still remember your lines. You learn the monologue. I mean, it's so much that goes into acting that people don't really understand unless you take an extenuated acting class. So was that like a transparent time for you, or did you just walk into it open-minded, like I'm just gonna go in here and just learn what I can?
It was an eye-opener for me, you know. At that point, I mean, I was shooting short films and everything. I was working on shows and whatnot, but I'm watching it more so I'm watching the bigger shows from the outside in. You feel me? So like, I'm looking at these people like, you know, I could do that. You feel me? Like, you know, that's cool. That's, you know, I can do that. Whatever.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't until I really got into the classes that I was like, okay, these people are on another level. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, you feel me? Like I really have to be more vulnerable and emotional in what I'm doing. And at that time, I really didn't know how to tap in like that. You know what I mean? To really express. It's different, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's really
it's a different mind muscle. It's a different thing that you use. Yeah.
Sure, you know what I mean? And us as Black men, we don't really use that emotional.
I'm telling you, especially as athletes. I'm telling you, because we so used to aggression and attacking and competing, and we compete every day. So like that's why the arts intrigue me, because you're using literally the opposite of muscle that you're used to using your whole life.
Like football, it's like, a play can happen and it's okay, on to the next. I got to forget about that. Whereas acting, you have to basically be in the moment and be still and embrace those emotions and really embrace that time, you know what I mean? And reflect on what's going on in that time period, whereas sports is you know what I mean, it's still fast paced, you know what I mean? So that was a early struggle for me, you know what I mean?
It takes time just to get used to it.
Absolutely. I'm more comfortable performing in front of people now, but definitely still tapping into the vulnerability part is something that's
you already know, bro, as an artist. So man, talk about your latest 3 credits that you garnered. I saw on your IMDb. You got the short film Glitch, you got Lost in the Moment, and you got Mind Over Max. I only bring that up because I remember when I first moved to LA and I was taking meetings for agents and managers. And shout out to one of my OGs, Jeff from Cleveland, man. He linked me with Third Hill Entertainment. They're out in Beverly Hills. They've been in the industry for 30 years. So we had a meeting. And I told him, hey, I'm just moved from Atlanta to LA, trying to take my acting career to the next level. I had done like some commercials and promos and some featured stuff, but nothing prominent. I had a decent demo reel, pretty much all commercials. And they were like, yeah, we tried to look you up on IMDb, we couldn't find you. Like, did we spell your name wrong? And I'm like, yeah, I don't have one. And like they started laughing. Like they like, well, first off, like you trying to be an actor, you went to LA, you don't have an IMDb. Like, and a lot of actors don't know that. They don't know that about the industry.
That's right.
To even be considered, they probably not gonna take you serious. But to be even considered to be taken serious,
right,
you have to have an IMDb. That's like your acting resume. They want to see you on screen. They want to see what you've done. Like. And I was lucky. I was able to get like I think my first 4 short film credits from all short films out in LA when I did my time out in LA. But when I saw your IMDb page, I'm like, okay. I'm like, he get it. I'm like somebody like he got to get to somebody telling them like how you supposed to move in this industry in 2021. Because a lot of guys they see the grits and glamour like, oh, you want All American, you want Ballers. I saw you on Snowfall. Like all that stuff is good, but it's featured stuff. Like to get on the bigger films and the bigger TV shows, you have to have real credits, and people don't even really understand that. I mean, and obviously, every guy's story is different. So some guy may get lucky and audition once and book a role, but when you trying to build something, they won't even, especially out in LA, they won't even take you serious if you don't have an IMDb. Like, so just talk about those your last 3 credits. What were those experiences like for those 3 films that I named?
Yeah, man. I've actually shot, a few projects, man, in the last year. So and a lot of those credits actually came in the last year. So I've actually shot 5 feature films. 2 of them aren't listed on there. They'll be added there really short.
Of course. Nice.
I shot a movie in Alabama called God of Dreams. I shot in March, so I flew out there for a few weeks, and that's gonna be pretty dope. That's gonna have an Atlanta and Alabama release.
Nice.
Lost in the Moment.
If you come to Atlanta, let me know, man, because that's where I'm at. I'm in Atlanta, so you said Atlanta, Alabama release, so you got to let me know if it's in hey, I'm gonna pull up.
Lost in the Moment. That's another feature film that's gonna drop. I actually just shot that maybe like a few weeks ago. So that's gonna be a good movie as well. Mind Over Max. That's another movie I just shot. I shot a feature film that's actually gonna be a silent film. So it's gonna be like all action, no worry.
Okay, no doubt. Like, oh, no worry. Oh, that's dope. Okay.
It's gonna be an interesting concept
and
for the movie.
And people don't know that's harder. That's a harder genre of acting because it's all nonverbal. So it's all hands and eyes and facial expressions and like because it's no words.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's
And
dope.
I had another feature. That's crazy that I'm actually like forgetting the feature, bro.
Man, you busy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad, but yeah, lost in the moment.
No.
Glitch. That was another short film I just shot.
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty good. That's gonna be a festival film that's gonna go out. I got another
Nice.
short film I'm gonna shoot next month or so. I'm actually
Okay.
writing a film right now that we're looking to produce right now. It's gonna be pretty dope. So
Okay. That's
I'm
what's up, bro.
into the avenue of actually creating my own content. You feel me?
Yeah.
Waiting for roles and getting booked for roles is cool, but I'm trying to be like Spike Lee. You feel me? Or
Exactly.
John Singleton
Exactly.
brothers. You know what I mean? Really putting
Man,
on.
it's it's fun. It's funny that you say that because that's actually what I'm on. That's why I started this podcast. I wrote and shot my first short film back in like November 2019. Of course, everyone's first short film is super terrible. The audio was horrible. The camera we used was horrible, but it was still a good experience to actually write a real script, cast actors, like I had to buy all the crafty. I had to buy all the crafty for the one day of filming, but I learned so much. And so the next one that I write, which will be in a couple of months, is going to be so much better because like you said, you learn so much in content creating from being on those sets and just doing all these different things, how real production is supposed to be ran. So that's part of it, man. I love your matriculation, through the athletic realm and then the artist realm. And a lot of people don't understand the real work that it takes. They think you just supposed to just move into it, and it always takes real work.
Right. It's definitely a process, bro. You know what I mean? It's everyday process.
Definitely.
Always doing something to work towards it, whether it's auditions or classes.
You know it.
2 days a week.
And people don't even understand the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions that you do. that you may only get 2 or 3 callbacks for, and you may not book nothing.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, I got an agent now, so I just picked up a TV film agent, so that's been major for me to be able to have that on my team, and
I'm telling you, yeah.
having that, and obviously I still work to submit myself, so it's
Of
like
course.
it's really a job to do the auditions. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's crazy, bro. What I learned out in LA is because obviously we were stunt football players on the show All American. So I kept asking everybody, okay, how do I get an audition for a day player for a real character for All American? Like, how do we do that? Right. And my agent explained it to me, like All American, they don't even put their submissions out for you to self-submit. You have to have an agent. That's right. Only the agents even get the breakdowns. Right. So if you don't have an agent, you won't have any chance of even being able to audition. And that's what a lot of people don't even understand. Like that behind the scenes stuff. Like you got to have an agent for them to even submit you.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's crazy because I literally just picked up an agent a couple weeks ago. You feel me? Or a few weeks ago. So like, not even getting those big time breakdowns. You feel me? I was doing shit on my own. But now I'm starting to see more bigger positions. You know what I mean? Like I just did a callback for Nike, Fox Sports last week and whatnot. You see those auditions rolling, and it's like, okay, we're here now. You feel me? We're here.
Exactly. And it's cool. For me, it's like I feel like we can pull from our athletic experience. We used to competing. We're used to the auditions and the callbacks and whether you book it or not, like it's another chance to compete. It's another chance to put your content out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it doesn't feel like anything. Like, it's like I'm a competitor. We've been competitors. And that's what I feel like. That's where I feel like we have the advantage, because a lot of artists or actors who've been acting a long time, they wish that they had the athletic piece that we had or the athletic experience. They don't have that to pull from. You know what I mean? So I definitely think we're at an advantage from that standpoint.
It's the competitive nature. You know what I mean? Like we have that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna keep going regardless. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Regardless, I ain't never gonna quit.
That's right. No, you know what I mean? And I guess you call L's of not getting the job. That doesn't I don't even think about the job after I submit for an audition, bro. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they hit me. The right ones always find me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And man, I'm telling you, bro, I had to learn that over time, because at first when I started getting bigger auditions, whether I get a call back or not, it was bothering me at first, but then it was like I had to tap into that. Like you said, like just being grateful for the opportunity. Like the film One Night in Miami. It's on Amazon Prime. Regina Hall directed it. It won like the Oscar or something like that. I auditioned for the Jim Brown role, the role that Aldous Hodge ended up playing. So obviously when I didn't get it, I'm thirsty for the movie to come out because I want to see
Who was it?
because it was a lead role and that was my first like lead role audition. It was like 48 lines and you had to be off book. It was the hardest prep I ever had. Luckily, I had 6 days. So I was at my manager's office in Beverly Hills every day. We trained for 6 hours, trying to get everything right. And so I was thirsty for the movie to come out so I could see what choices he made. Yeah. And it was crazy. All the choices he made in the film, in the final film, was like way more subtle than what I did in the audition. Because you think you're supposed to yell here or you're supposed to do this, but he's saying it chill, he's saying it like kind of prominent, but like I'm like, wow. So for me, that like I took something from that. I'm like, okay, I ain't booked that, but I learned, I saw what choices he made. So my next lead role audition is like, okay, now I'll be able to navigate that a little better. That was my first one. So even though, and people don't understand that, even though you don't book it, you still get an experience from it. You still get better in the art. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
And it's crazy, like you said, the time that you put in, bro. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah. Oh man, so much time.
You're almost gambling with the time to be an actor. You know what I mean? You know, you're just hoping for that big payoff, but you know, you gotta keep
the grind don't stop. The grind don't stop. Right.
You know?
right. So man, last question, bro. This is called the After Effects Show. I always end it with this question. What would you say is Omar Cook's after effect from the 15-year relationship that you had with football, the wins, the losses, like we said earlier, the injuries, okay, I'm getting traded. I gotta go from Nebraska to Montana tomorrow. Like, what were some lessons that you learned through your whole journey from Riverside to Baton Rouge, playing at Southern, to your arena football league, to acting now? What were some lessons that you learned that you take and you move with now as you try to progress in your acting career? And really, as we just try to push this culture forward.
Biggest lesson, man, that I learned through all of that was perseverance, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. I went through so much with my athletic career, whether it was going from team to team or injuries. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people don't know what goes in, you know, I mean, behind the scenes of football or sports and things like that. But I dealt with so many injuries, bro. You know what I mean? You know, shoulder dislocations, you know, partial torn ACL, meniscus tear, broke my foot, you know what I mean? Things like that, you know, and I would just have to, you know, obviously you have to rehab and yourself back into tip-top professional shape.
And that's not a fast process.
You know what I mean? That's not, you know what I mean? So that I had to go through those times, you know, of really getting my body right and really getting my mind right to say that I can do this and overcoming those thoughts of knowing
those negative thoughts.
I mean, that a part of the body is hurt, you know what I mean? And really going out there and competing against the best athletes around still, you feel me? So just doing that really just helped me push through a lot, you know what I mean? Even with college, I was my first 2 years, I didn't touch the field at Southern University till my third year. Like literally, I didn't suit up a game until the last game of my junior year. You feel me? You know what I mean? It was cut from the team my freshman year, bro. You know what I mean?
Obviously I'll let you finish, but how did you handle, like, unpack that a little bit for me, bro? Like, how did you handle all that adversity, right? Because I had an injury my senior year in college, and I wouldn't say it didn't ruin my career, but it ruined me. Like, it took me months to get back from that because I had built up myself to be a senior starter, and then to get injured my senior year, it was like, how did you deal with all those emotions of all the injuries and all the politics of, like you're saying, not becoming the starter till your third year on campus? Like, did you just stay positive? Did you have a good support system? Like, what did you have to pull from to kind of just stay in the game? You know, a lot of guys go through that kind of stuff and they say, fuck it, they quit. They go back home or whatever, get into some bad stuff. Like, so like, how did you keep your head in the game?
Crazy thing is, bro, I didn't start until my senior year on campus, bro. You feel me? So I ended up still having to go through the works of it, you know what I mean? But it's mindset, bro. I'm built different, you know what I mean? Even when I was not on the team or even when I was hurt in situations, I always knew that I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be at. You know what I mean? People may not have seen that, but I always knew.
Yeah.
I mean, when I stepped on the field in college and I finally got my time to start, I knew I was gonna ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I stepped on the field in professional sports and I finally got my opportunity. I knew I was gonna ball. You know what I mean? I started over 40-some games professionally, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, every single time when I stepped on the field, I had a mindset of I'm here to win and dominate. You know what I mean? That's just been my mindset in anything I do. You know, so I took that same mindset with acting. You know what I mean? I remember telling my parents, you know, I'm about to be an actor. You know what I mean? When I had decided
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you how does your parents accept that?
Right. I mean, it was like, you know, okay, you know, have a plan B, you know, whoop de whoop, you know what I mean? And I mean, they're supportive, you know, but at the same time, you know, I'm thinking it ain't no plan B. You know what I mean? It's no plan B. This is what I'm about to do.
I'm gonna make this thing shake.
I've already seen the vision. I already know what's about to happen. You know what I mean? So like just having that, when I stepped into this acting world, I have other endeavors that I do outside of it, but I don't look at those as plan B. The plan A right now is to execute acting. You feel me? And it's paid off, you know what I mean? And now they're more so like, okay, you know, what show are you on this week? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
They see you making a little noise. Now they got questions. Now they interested.
Now, you know what I mean? And like, you know, it's just the athlete's mindset of just being a competitor. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I
love it, bro.
But none of this, bro. You know what I mean? I'm here to win. You know what I mean? Regardless.
Exactly.
God got my back, you know what I mean, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So I think that competitive nature as an athlete is something that can carry an athlete through any type of industry.
I'm telling you, anything, bro. Well, man, I appreciate you carving out the time. That's all I had, man. One thing I've been trying to pride myself on is, you know, giving guys flowers while they're still here, man. 2020 was a weird year. We never would have guessed that the world would have shut down for a whole calendar year. And we've had to pivot in so many different ways, man. So I want to tell you face up, man to man, black man to black man. And I salute you on everything you've done thus far, all the accolades, all the accomplishments, all the awards. I'm following your career. I'm almost positive we'll work together on another set, whether it's stunts or whether it's in the real cast. You know what I mean?
100%. You know, you already know what time it is.
Subscribe to LeBron Daniel TV, but you already knew that, where we dig deep and find our hustle, and every single day we are better than yesterday. Subscribe.